Hey there, thanks for joining me. I'm Peter Melsheimer, the founder of Equipment. Now, I'd much rather be having a real conversation with you instead of talking at you through a screen. I get it. Sometimes you just want to check things out on your own before dealing with an actual human being. But don't worry, if you make it through this whole tour and decide you want to chat, you can always request a live demo. Right off the bat, let me be clear. Equipment isn't for the folks building bridges across the Mississippi, paving 10-lane highways in LA, or putting up skyscrapers in Manhattan. Sure, I could have gone after the bigger, broader construction market. That probably would have been the smart business move. But that's not what I know, and it's not what I wanted to build. I spent my entire career, really most of my life, in the underground utility construction business, specifically in a family-run, smallish business. That's why I built Equipment, to have a focus on small to mid-sized utility contractors, the ones out there in the trenches installing our infrastructure. That said, it could probably help any contractor, but my heart's with the guys and gals running drills, pulling pipe, and getting the job done. So grab your coffee if it's work hours, or something stronger if it's not, and let's dive into Equipment. I'll show you what it can do and how it just might make your life a little easier. Let's get started. You were just awarded that big telecom job to bring Santa Maria, California into the 21st century and get them some broadband fiber. Congratulations. That's a big job with thousands of feet of conduit to install, fiber to blow, boxes to install. Good money if you're efficient about it, or you'll be a nonprofit if you're not. So here we go. First, we're going to start the new job. Click up here. Okay, first we need to give the job a name. We'll say this is the Santa Maria Fiber Job Frontier. Okay, give it some sort of unique job ID number. The start date. So the start date, we're going to say that's going to start in a few days. The end date is going to go on for a while, so we're going to push it out through October. You have an option of making it a bid. So before you actually got the job, you can still put it into Equipment and convert it to a job. This is going to be considered an upcoming job. And then we'll go with the date that it was awarded, which was today. All right, then you have a field for more descriptive information. You can add this later, it's just an open text field. And also the total footage if you want to put that in at this point. Hit next. Okay, so now we can put in the basic location of the job. This way your crew, when they start off in the morning, they know exactly where to go. They can get directions through the app to go out to the job site. We're gonna go with Broadway, Santa Maria. That'll get us close. We're gonna zoom in a little bit and we're gonna go right here and drop a pin. And then hit next. Now this app has a client database in it. So as you add in clients, they don't have to be clients, they can be inspectors, anybody you want to have contact info for within the app, you can add into the database. In this case, we're going to look for Frontier Communications. We'll select them. Yep, that's them. We got their contact info. Here's the main contact. And we'll go back and then hit next. Now we're going to associate the crews to the job. We're going to schedule the crews. So let's see, we make holes, yeah, but this is a pretty big job. So let's pick the bore masters. Oh, wait, they're already assigned to a job. We're not going to use them. We'll go with keep on drilling. Hit next. Okay, so now once you've assigned a crew, that will automatically pull in not only the crew members, but also any equipment or tooling that is associated with that crew. So you can see the drill rig and the trailer, the mud system, those all came in with the crew to schedule the job. You can add to it. You can go through and select more tools, equipment that's outside of that crew. Hit next. Custom equipment or materials. So this is where you're adding things that are, say like the 1.25 inch conduit that needs to go out, and we need 15,000 feet of it. Hit done. You can associate a picture with it if you want. Save material, and then you can add more as you need. So anything that isn't part of the normal inventory of equipment or tooling within the app, you can add here to still ensure your crew takes it out to the job when it needs to be there. Hit next. Now again, the crew members, you'll see the check boxes. They've already been assigned to the job if they're part of that crew, but you can still add other crew members as needed. Oh, that crew member is already on another job, so we can't use them. We'll hit next. And last, we have a folder organization for your documents. So all your permits, your drawings, your state sheets, whatever documentation goes with this job that you want saved with this job in one location, you can add into these folders. At this point, we're just creating the folder organization, the structure of them within the app. You can keep what we have here by default, or you can add your own structure to it. And at that point, we'll just hit save job. The job's going to be saved. And in just a matter of minutes, you now have that job created in equipment with all the details. The equipment, tooling, and materials are all allocated, crews are scheduled, and your document folders are organized. But remember, the real power behind equipment, where it's going to help you be more efficient with less people having to come to you for answers, is by its ability to keep everything related to the job stored, organized, and accessible in one place. So not just the details and schedule, but all the job documents, the locate tickets, job photos, and even a place to document your job walkthroughs. Let's take a quick look at those now. First, we'll get some of the typical documents into the app and associated with the job. Drawings, permits, state sheets. You can upload any type of document like PDFs, Word docs, spreadsheets, and even screenshots of an email or document. So we'll click on job documents. We'll go into one of the folders. We'll upload a new file. Let's go with, how about some drawings here? We'll open those, add them in just a second. It'll all be within that. And if you click on it, you'll bring up the actual drawing. In this case, a PDF. You can zoom in, zoom out, move around, get as detailed as you want. Now, very similarly, we have job photos. So this is a place for you to use photos to document the progress of your job, or any incidents that happen, or things you just want to make sure you or the client has access to in the future. So here we'll just click on job photos. You can click here. You can create a folder to help organize the photos, pre-start, save. And then once you have that folder, you can actually upload or take the picture. Choose a picture to upload. There we go. We'll get one of these people that are randomly on my phone, upload it. Now you can also come in and rename the photo. So this is basically giving the photo a caption. Start of job. Save. You can see it automatically grabs username, my name, the date it was uploaded, the file name, the caption. It'll also get the GPS and time date stamp from the mobile device that the picture was taken with. Before you actually start the job, you'll probably be doing a pre-start walkthrough with the client. I'm sure you've all done those before, and there's probably a good chance that what you thought had been discussed and what the client or inspector thought was discussed didn't always match up. That's why it is crucial for you to not only do the job walkthrough, but to document it. Well, we can help with that too. I'm not going to drag you out to the job site with me, but I will show you just how easy this documentation process is. So here we go. We'll select job walkthrough. You can see we already have one for a pre-start walkthrough, but we'll create a new one. Let's say this is midpoint of job. And it was just earlier today. And this was with Bob Jones as well from Frontier. You can add another attendee if you need as well. Then we'll put in some notes about what was discussed. So added a new flower pot to house number 4. You can take a photo showing what was added to document it. Hit next. Okay, here's the information you discuss, we review it together, and then both parties will sign off on it. So we'll just add our little chicken scratch here, save signature. Now the client has to sign off on it, save signature. And once we save it, it will automatically get emailed to you. And then you can share it with the client. It also saves a record of it within the app for you to refer back to, so there's no misunderstandings and everybody's on the same page. And finally, we have the much dreaded, time-sucking but required locate tickets. Once again, we're trying to keep as much information and documentation around your jobs in one centralized location, and this includes the locate tickets. Let me enter one to show you just how it works. Okay, we'll select locate tickets. We'll create a new one. Okay, we'll enter in the ticket ID number, which you've already gotten from your call 811. We'll put in the work start date. We'll go with May 5th. We'll put in the submit date, which was today. And any notes about the ticket that you want to indicate here. You can also update the location. So it's going to default to the job location. But if you want to be more specific, you can drop a new pin, save it, and then you can add a photo. Just like before, you can upload or take a photo from your mobile device. Maybe you needed to go out to the job site, take pictures of the actual paint marks to prove that they were done, and then you can save it within that. So we're going to go ahead and do create new locate ticket. Now at this point, you'll see it says submitted with a blue bar. Okay, once you get back the approval, you'll change the locate ticket status. You'll put in the approval date. You'll put in the expiration date, 30 plus days, and save it. Now it's been changed to a green bar with approved, as opposed to the blue bar with submitted. Now, as it gets closer to the expiration date, the bar is automatically going to change to a yellow to warn you got 3 days before this expires. And then when you have 1 day, it's going to change to orange. And then once it's expired, it's going to change to red and say expired across it. At that point, you'll resubmit, but don't worry, within the app, you can also put in the resubmittal number, put in the new expiration date, and continue the process. Real quickly, let me jump over to the more section here just to show you. We also have a locate tickets dashboard. So this is where you can see all the locate tickets across all the jobs. Where we were previously was just the locate tickets for that one specific job. So that's the basics of creating a new job in Equipment. But now let's take a more in-depth look at a project we've already entered to show you some of the other ways Equipment will help your jobs to run more efficiently and ensure everyone's on the same page. We've got a pretty big job going that involves some bores, pulling in multiple conduits, setting handholds and pedestals. Pits need to be dug, utilities need to be spotted. The crew needs to know what to do, how long it should take, and what to do next, and next. And you need to know how it's going. How long did it actually take to make that 350-foot pilot shot? Who's fusing the pipe? How much of the job is complete? That's where the task management section of Equipment comes in. But before I take you through the full-blown task management feature, I want to quickly show you our bore logger. This particular bore logging task deserved its own section, both because having some sort of a record of the bore is so important and doesn't always happen, and because HED has been my life. I've already got some bores entered into the job to speed up this demo. So let's take a look. You can see there are different bores with different crews and at different locations on the job. Here are some locate entries for this particular job. So it spans over multiple days. Each log is for a certain day. We click into it and we can see all the bore entries for that particular day on that bore. You get the distance since the last reading, the total distance drilled, the current depth at that reading, what the pitch was. If you'll see here, there's a little icon, so that indicates that there's a picture associated with that entry. That picture is also saved in the job photos section for you to easily refer back to. Now let's just show you real quick how easy it is to create an entry. Okay, it's going to default to whatever your distance you put in there. So we're going to do 10 feet since the last reading. Our conditions haven't changed. We can put in the current depth of 44 inches. We are running at a minus 5%. And if you need to put in the distance from the edge of pavement, you have a field to do that. If you want to put any notes, say you push 3 foot at 6 o'clock, you can put that in there. Makes it good to refer back to if you have to reshoot it. And then you can click on bore photo and upload a picture or take one at that time. At this point, you're going to hit done and save the entry. Okay, so now we have a new entry. We have our running totals of how far we've drilled, what's left. And of course, all this is exportable as a PDF report that you can send to the client and also as an Excel bore profile. But what's really nice is from this dashboard, you can see exactly how each bore is going in real time. You don't have to wait for the crew to upload the data from the data logger to their computer. You can come in here, and as they're making their entries, these percentages will change. These entries will be updated, all in real time. Everything is GPS stamped from the mobile device, along with the time and date stamp and the user that recorded it. Now let's get back to the task management section and all the other tasks that you can keep track of in equipment. You can get as granular as you want with keeping track of progress, labor equipment hours for a specific task, or just for the job as a whole. Bigger projects can be divided up into more manageable segments with specific tasks within each segment. Or just create a list of tasks. Let's go ahead and create a task for the back ream and pullback. So we'll add a new task. We will pick from our list of task types, the bore, back ream, and pullback. Now the location, again, it'll default to the location of the job itself, but we can get more specific. Drop a new pin, hit next. Details, okay, so let's say this is gonna be a 12-inch back ream through clay, whatever's important for your crew to know about that specific task. We'll put in the start date. If you know it, it's optional. Same with the end date. You might not know when it's going to end, how long it should take. So this is good for your crew to know how long you think it should take them to do this back ream. And it's good for you to keep a record of how you bid it. So we're going to put in a duration of, say, 6 hours, because we're going to go about 650 feet. Priority is just a way to sort. We'll put it as high because it's got to be done. As we indicated, the clay conditions for this one. Now you can also put in the product type. In this case, we're going to put in some HDPE, and there's going to be 1.25 inches, and we're going to have 4 of them. And then we're going to add in another product, again, HDPE, and this is going to be a 2-inch, but there will just be 2 of those, and so on. Then the crew is going to default to the crew that are assigned to the job. We'll just pick this one. Now it's going to put in all the crew members for that crew, assign them to this particular task, as well as equipment for that crew. Now you can adjust, you can remove equipment, add equipment. Again, it depends on how granular you want to get. And then we'll just save the task. So now we can come in and we will see here we have the back ream and pullback task. Here's all the data you have that you input for this, the location, the equipment that needed, the crew that's going to be doing it. Now, once they've actually done the bore and pullback, they're going to click up here to time log and enter how much time it actually spent them. Okay, so in this case, they were able to do it in 5.5 hours, and it was actually a little bit more footage than they originally estimated. No problems, easy drilling in clay. And again, if you want to take a photo, photos are great for time log entries to document the progress and the end result. And you can put as many photos as you want here. A lot of companies will use this as a way to actually bill the client. So this will prove the progress and what they actually produced for the day. We'll save the time log. Okay, now you can see here's the time log here. And if you go back to the front, you can see that the task here is pretty well complete at that point. So you can actually change it to complete task. And that changes it to a gray color. With the Quapman's task management feature, not only do you know how jobs are progressing or not, your crews have more autonomy. They can see what needs to be done. If they run into a problem because the conduit wasn't delivered, they can see what the next task is that they might be able to move on to. Better productivity and less dead time. Just like the bore logger, you can come into Quapman and see exactly how all the tasks on the different projects are progressing. And at the end of the day, instead of your foreman staying up late trying to remember what all happened that day and send you an email update, if you're lucky, they can quickly generate a daily production report. Let me get one started here. So we'll click here, check on daily production check-in report. We'll pick the day that this is for, the time the crew started. Let's say they started at 8:15. They left at 4:15. Got the pullback completed. Did an extra 30 feet. What hurdles did we have? Not enough conduit delivered, but we made do. Any other notes about tomorrow? And we can also adjust crew member hours individually. So it's going to default to having everybody on the job, on that task, with the same hours. But here we can say, okay, Craig got there a little, or left a little bit later than everyone else. And he also had 30 minutes of travel time. He attended the safety talk, and then he signed off on the job for that day. Okay, update work times. Now you can see there's no little indicator here that he hasn't signed off on it. Click done. At this point, you have the option of creating a PDF, an Excel, or both, and create the report. It'll automatically get emailed to you. You can forward it to whoever else you want. And it also saves a copy of each daily report in the job documents section in organized folders. Hit create report, pick who you want it to go to, click done, and it is sent off to whoever you need to get it. When we created that money-making job in equipment, you saw me pick the equipment and tooling, the crew, and the crew members that needed to be scheduled to the job. Now we'll take a look at where all those assets reside, because you can do a whole lot more with them than just scheduling them to jobs. First, let's take a look at your fleet of equipment and tooling. Not only is this an inventory of what equipment and tooling you have and what's available, but it also gives you a whole lot more information. Let's start by using Equipment's powerful search feature to find a particular drill rig. Okay, we'll select this D2440 data for. So here we have the drill rod thread. We have a field for how many drill rods that particular rig will hold. What's the length of the drill rig? What's the minimum width of the drill rig? How much torque does it have? All these kind of things. You can store lots of photos to show the condition, tags, serial numbers, truck setups, trailer setups, etc. We provide spec fields that are specific to the category of equipment or tool. For example, you can input the hauling capacity of the tilt trailer, what threads are on the 24-inch back reamer, what ground conditions it should be used in, the pullback capacity. There's even a lightweight service work order feature so that you can schedule equipment for repair or service and not book it to a job while it's in the shop. You can store lots of photos to show the condition of the drill rig, the tags, the hour meter, whatever's important for you to keep track of. Let me give you another example. Let's look for a clay back reamer. There we go. So in this case, we have a Tornado back reamer from Elfer Borzal. I know them pretty well. It'll have the cut size, what the ground conditions are, what the thread is on either end of it, and what size drill rig it should be used for. You can also see this little indicator here tells you what crew this is assigned to. You can also go into more detail and see the schedule. So you can look at if this particular tool or piece of equipment is scheduled to any jobs, past, present, or future. And you can also schedule it for service. We just click on schedule service. You'll indicate the repair, replace carbides on reamer. Okay, we're gonna take it out of service tomorrow, and no hour meter, and we're going to share this with other people. Okay, save service request. So now at this point, you just emailed your mechanic back to the shop what needed to be done. So instead of leaving little post-it notes on the drill rig with what needs to be repaired and hoping the mechanic sees it so you can take it out the next day, you can actually send a service work order. He gets it in his email as a PDF, and you'll be good to go the next day. Then you have your most important asset, your people. This is the crew member section, but it can include any of your employees. All of them can be included so that you can keep track of some details on them and you can schedule them to jobs. But you choose who to invite to be an actual user on your company equipment account. And then finally, there are the crews. They're made up of both these resources, equipment and crew members. As I just showed you a minute ago, crews makes it easy to assign a group of equipment and crew members to jobs. You can also quickly see what crews are scheduled to what jobs. We even gave them some color coding to quickly identify crew schedules and associations to equipment. Whew, that was a lot to cover, but we're not quite done yet. I want to quickly show you two more features that are especially useful by HDD drillers. In fact, they both came from HDD driller suggestions. First, we have the soil and dump site mapping. Maybe you did an install last year in Bakersfield, California, and now you need to bid another job in the same area. Instead of relying on your not so reliable memory, you can just zoom around or search and find what the conditions were over in Bakersfield. So we just had some dirt over there. And you can also see where you took the slurry at the end of the job to dump it. Now, what's really great is that anyone on the Equipment app has the option to share this kind of information across the platform called crowdsourcing. The red ones are actually crowdsourced from other contractors on the Aquapment app. They've put in all their different soil conditions that they've encountered, dropped a pin, indicated what it was at. So all the red indications, those are ground conditions or dump sites that another contractor put into the app and shared by just clicking down here. The last thing we got for you are the HDD calculators. Over in this section, we have some of the common calculators, that'll help you to determine pitch to slope, slope to pitch, how much soil is being removed based on the diameter of the cutting tool, things like that. Common calculator apps that if you're not a board god, you probably can't figure it out in your head. So we put that tool right into the app for you. So there you have Aquapment. Well, at least the main features. Hopefully you got a good sense of how Aquapment can make your job easier and make your entire operation more productive. All from a fairly simple, anytime, anywhere available app. But really the best way to see if Aquapment is a fit for your company and your specific requirements and challenges is to give us a call or shoot us an email. We're happy to schedule a personal demo with you and your team. It's a great way for us to learn about your operation and your specific requirements and challenges. Together, we can decide if Aquapment is a good fit and maybe learn what else you would like it to do. Just give us a call at 805-316-1383 or shoot us an email at support@aquapment.com. Then again, if you want your blood pressure to go down and your bore footage to go up, start now. With our 14-day free trial, you can get started right now. No commitment, no credit card needed, no fine print. You've got nothing to lose if you try it, but you've got plenty of time, footage, and hair to lose if you don't. Thanks for joining me. Be safe out there.